What is up, everybody? Mr. Curtis here. Welcome to our second to last global history unit. So sad. And this unit is on the end of imperialism. So imperialism going back a couple units before right before World War One, and nationalism increasing. And remember, nationalism can mean one or two things: either pride in your country or the desire to have your own country. So we're going to see a lot of that in this unit. We got a couple different places we're going to look at over the course of a couple different videos. India. We're going to look at the Middle East. We will also look at Africa as well. So in this video, we're going to talk about India. India gaining their independence, a little bit of a review on British India. If you kind of forget, this is the time period of imperialism, industrialization, and really we had this group called the British East India Company, which had been in India since the age of exploration, so going all the way back to Global One information. And there were trade networks there, and they pretty much had control of a lot of trade in local areas. And they had hired sepoys who were Indian soldiers to kind of do their dirty work, to help protect them, to if they needed to, if this trade company from Britain wanted to invade another group in India, they would have the sepoys do it. And eventually the sepoys rebel against the British. If you remember, the gun cartridges, the cow fat, the pig fat, rumors spread, and they rise up and rebel. But remember, the British have what? Weapons, and big old good weapons that they can use against the sepoys, and the sepoy rebellion is quickly put down. The British government is going to officially overthrow the empire in India, which is the Mughal Empire. And when they overthrow it, the British India becomes the jewel of the British crown. Remember, the British Empire is across the entire world. It is huge, but India is its most prized possession. So with that said, here's kind of the new stuff to get into. There are going to be a couple nationalist leaders within British India who challenge British rule. And there are really two groups that emerge. One is called the Indian National Congress. And this is a nationalist group. This is a group trying to fight for independence against the British. And it's mainly made up of educated Indians. There are a lot of people in the British colonies who are going to be sent back to Britain to get educated. So for example, you show a lot of promise in school and you are Indian. The British government might send you to Britain to be educated at a school in London and then to come back to India to work for the British government. Mainly the people in the Indian National Congress are going to be Hindu. And the leader of this movement is Mohandas Gandhi. That's this guy who you've all seen at some point in your life. He's right here. As you all probably are well aware, he mainly focused on nonviolent protests. Protests that were, whether it's marching, whether it was boycotting clothes, everything was about nonviolence. And so never striking. If the British soldiers hit you, you take another hit and you don't fight back. He also is big into civil disobedience, which means breaking unjust laws. These are laws that you find civilly unfair or unjust, and you want to disobey these laws. So if you, for example, you wanted to break that you felt there was something against you at West Hampton Beach that was unfair or unjust, you would break that law and take your punishment. And then the next day you come in and you break it again and take your punishment. That's civil disobedience. On the other side, so we have Indian National Congress over here. There's another group that forms called the All Muslim League. The Indian National Congress is primarily Hindu. The All Muslim League is, yes, you guessed it, primarily Muslim. These are educated Indians who are mainly Muslim. These are same people who are going to go to London to get educated. They come back with these ideas of the Enlightenment and democracy and freedom and all that good stuff. This group is the Muslims in India are about 15 to 20% of the population. They are very worried that if they get their independence, the Indians will push them out of power, and as a minority group, they will be treated unfairly. So they form their own league. This is their leader, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So these two guys, this is the Indian National Congress, this is the All Muslim League. Believe it or not, these two guys both kind of work together to fight against British imperialism. And unlike a lot of other countries, if you remember, after World War I, during World War I, the Indians helped the British fight for independence. They were promised their independence and they didn't get it. During World War II, the Indians are told, if you help the British fight, we'll give you your independence. The Indians help. And after World War II, the British start negotiating with the Indian people to give them their independence. And they formed the Indian Independence Act in 1947, which is basically an agreement with the British Crown that they would obtain their independence in 1947. Really, a lot of this nationalism and, like I said, this feeling of desire for independence really kind of increases significantly after World War II, and it's going to help them because they help fight. It's going to lead to their independence. Here's the deal. Like I said, the All-Muslim League is worried about losing power if we form a democratic government in India, assuming everyone votes along your religious lines. This is what it looked like in India in 1947. Anything that's in green is primarily Muslim. Anything that's in this red or pinkish color is Hindu. So we have a Muslim kind of group over here. We have Muslim over here. We have Hindu here. And what the two groups are going to push for is the All-Muslim League and the Indian National Congress is for two separate countries. Let's create a country primarily for Muslims. Let's create a country primarily for Hindus. And let's separate British India into not one, but two different sections. One for Hindus, one for Muslims. And that will ideally, in the minds of the people who are doing this at the time, avoid conflict and avoid issues. So we'll create a Muslim country here, a Hindu country here, and call it a day. It's a two-state solution. And what is going to happen is this is what is going to occur. They are going to do this. They're going to partition. And to this word here, think about it, write it down, whatever. Partition, and the root of the word is to part. Partition means to split. They're going to split South Asia, this area right here, which was British India, into two separate countries. They're going to create the Hindu country, which is going to be called India, and the Muslim country, which is going to be called Pakistan. Pakistan is going to be broken up into West Pakistan and the east side of Pakistan. So we got the West Pakistan, we got the East Pakistan, and this is both primarily Muslim countries. And if you come back to this map, look, here it is. This is where the Muslims live. This is where Muslims live. This is where Hindus live, blah, blah, blah. You can see here and here. So this is eventually going to separate from Pakistan and become just called Bangladesh, but this is the map. This is what it looks like today. Here's the problem. A lot of people are going to have to be forced to leave. If you are Muslim and you live in the Hindu side, you're going to roll out to the Pakistani side. If you're in Pakistan and you're Hindu, you're going to roll to this. We have millions of people, and literally millions of people who are leaving from West Pakistan into India, and people going from India into Pakistan. People are going to be killed. There's a little violence and skirmishes that break out. We have people moving and migrating between the two areas. And this is a picture of a train leaving, I believe, the Hindu side and go into Pakistan. So one last thing, and this is the scary part. This is the freaky part. This is where we get worried about future issues, is both of these countries have nuclear weapons today. They are still not on the best of terms. This is called nuclear proliferation. To proliferate is to increase. And in this case, we are increasing nuclear weapons in these two countries, India and Pakistan. And again, here's Bangladesh down here. This was East Pakistan. So this area right here is called Kashmir. Kind of like the clothing, Kashmir. And the two sides have issues over this region today called Kashmir. And the two sides, each side thinks that they should control it. Here's what's scary. Sometimes little skirmishes flare up here. Both sides have nuclear weapons, about a little over 50 for Pakistan and a little over 30 for India. If things get tense, both their nuclear weapons are pointed at each other. A little bit scary, a little bit of a problem, but a long way from those days of Gandhi, of nonviolence and peaceful and civil disobedience. So that's India, independence, separation, partition, two different groups, Hindu, Muslim. That's all I got. Any questions, as always, write it down. Let me know. Have a good day.